Hello, everyone. My name is Brittany Policastro, and I am a sexual empowerment specialist, sexologist, and lineage based tantric practitioner. And I support women over 35 in healing and transforming their relationship with sex so that they feel more confident, more empowered, more orgasmic in really every area of their lives, not just their sex lives. So, I want today to talk about sex education, but not in the way that you might think. Yeah, sex education is so important, especially because growing up, most of us did not have uh, integrative, holistic, full understanding of what sex is, especially pleasure, especially for women. And so, yes, so important to educate yourself around what is possible in your body. However, it's not actually enough if you are looking to truly create life changing shifts in your relationship with sex. Like, for example, if you get stuck in your head a lot during sex, or if sometimes you just don't feel connected to your body, or you have a lot of judgment around your body, or you feel a lot of numbness in your yoni area, or even you experience some pain, or you want to communicate your needs, but you have no idea what you want. And when you go to communicate them, you just freeze up because you're so used to putting everyone else's needs before your own. If any of these are resonating, then simply learning about sex isn't going to get you there. Now, what learning about sex will help you do is, yes, it's important to understand that there's several different types of orgasms that you can have, 15, 16. There's 4 different types of female ejaculation. There are, um, 5 beds of erectile tissue, and there's a certain amount of time that it actually takes for that erectile tissue to get fully engorged, so that if you have any type of penetrative sex, it feels more pleasurable, right? All of this is really important to know. It's also can be really helpful to know about kink and to play with different positions, and all of these things are helpful to know. However, they're not going to get you to the place where you are repatterning your nervous system, because understanding something is completely different than embodying it. Right? You have to actually embody something for it to create the shifts that you want in your life. So, it's like if someone had a torn rotator cuff or a torn meniscus in their knee, and they went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, okay, like, to fully heal this, you're going to need surgery. You're going to need this is going to have to happen. There's a tear, like, it needs to be repaired. And you're like, okay, but I don't want surgery. So I'm going to go to physical therapy, and I'm going to try to work it out that way. And you go to physical therapy, and it actually helps. Like, it helps. And you feel better, but not 100%. And you notice that, like, you still don't feel fully confident in dancing or doing push-ups because the tear is still there. Like, it's still there. It was strengthened around it to support it, but it didn't go away. That's similar to what happens when we educate ourselves around sex, but we don't do the deeper embodiment work to actually create the shifts. So I'm here to tell you that you can actually create shifts that you don't have to think about anymore. Like, that's the difference. When we learn a concept and we're like, oh, this is really helpful, and I'm going to apply this concept. I'm going to work really hard to apply this concept so I understand. And it's like arduous because it's not embodied. When something is embodied, it becomes eventually effortless. It becomes effortless. It's the same thing with, like, when you're learning a new skill. And you're learning a skill and you're like, oh, okay. Like, I just have to look at my notes, and I have to figure this out. And okay, I'm going to try it again. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to take my time. And then, like, 10 times down the road, or 3 months later, you're not even thinking about it. Think about driving your car. Do you think about driving your car when you're driving your car? Sometimes it's like, oh, here I am. How did I get here? Right? This is what happens when something becomes embodied. We can still be present with it, and try to be present when you're driving your car. But you don't have to do that hard work to think. Oh, I have to be, I can't be reactive. I have to be nice, or I have to speak up during sex. And oh, it's so hard. It becomes easier when you do the work to repattern and to clear your nervous system, and it becomes embodied. Okay. So how do we do that? Well, that's the deeper work. The work that I do with women is it's part somatic work, sexual somatic healing. So actually engaging in embodiment practices. Some are not sexual at all. Some are sexual that they do on their own to create the body awareness, but also the shifts in the body. Like we can literally clear information, stored trauma in our bodies. And just, a note about trauma, just because you didn't have, a big traumatic experience in your life doesn't mean that your body is still not holding feelings of not feeling safe or some kind of trauma that might not have a full memory around, because being a woman in this world can be traumatic as it is. And so I just want to point that out to you. And so that's part of it, is doing this deeper work. Another part of it is an energetic work. And that's where the Tantra that I work with, lineage-based Tantra, comes in. We don't have to work so hard when we actually have practices that can support us in creating these shifts. And what does it mean to create these shifts? Well, from what I see, I've watched within myself and with women transform their relationship with sex in a way that speaking up in the bedroom becomes easy. Advocating for their pleasure, even commanding their pleasure, becomes effortless. They start to tap into their creativity more. I have women that are clearing generational trauma because they're learning to love their bodies. I have women that are recognizing that, even if they're in a sexless marriage, that, they're choosing for the time being maybe to be in, or they're in a relationship maybe where they're there, but they're not feeling completely turned on by it. That the first step of that for them, the first step of transforming that, is actually transforming their relationship with sex themselves, and that they're recognizing that how empowering it is, first and foremost, before even connecting with their partners. It is to feel safe and connected in their own bodies, and that they can be their best lovers first. Right? Then they go back to their partners and it's like, wow. Right? So all of this stuff cannot just be done by reading a book or taking a quick course or, taking an hour tantric session. All of those things are great and fun and can enhance. Yes. But they're not going to create the deep, everlasting shifts and transformation that comes from doing the integrative body, embodied, somatic, and energetic work. And so if this is resonating with you, if you're like, I have been spinning my wheels, because that's what it is. It's like you're hacking your sex life. Like you're trying to hack your sex life, like piece it together, when really go to the root. You don't have to do that anymore. And that's the work that I do with women. And this is really, I didn't start that way, but I realized that what was needed, because that's what I went through myself. And so if this is something that's so resonating with you, I want to give you just a very small invitation. And that is, I invite you to reach out to me, to send me a DM to learn more about what working together could look like. And I have my program called Goddess Liberated, which is a 6-month embodiment program that really supports women in truly transforming their relationship with sex. And so if you are like, oh yes, this is so resonating, just shoot me a DM, sexually_liberated on Instagram, and let's have a chat. Or if you just really enjoyed this video and want to let me know, I love to connect. So you can do that as well. I will be making many more of these videos, and I so look forward to connecting with you. Better sex is possible, but the deep dive is often needed.